If you have any questions, call us at 1-888-625-1440. That's 1-888-625-1440.
The holidays mean so many things to so many people. A chance to catch up with family you don't see very often. An opportunity to give thanks. A chance to enjoy some great food with those who care about the most. A perfect opportunity to fill your family's head with anti-gun propaganda. Wait, what the hell was that last statement? It's true. Michael Bloomberg's anti-gun group, Everytown for Gun Safety, is urging its members and everyone else to spend that quality time around the turkey talking gun control. A newsletter distributed by their mailing list gives anti-gunners several talking points to discuss at the Thanksgiving dinner, such as the myth, more guns in more places makes us safer. Myth number 2, having a gun at home makes women safer from domestic violence. And of course, the all-time Bloomberg favorite, myth, the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. These, of course, being the favorite myths of Bloomberg. The newsletter further goes on to use the now debunked stat that 92% of Americans support federal universal background checks laws and accuses Congress of catering to the gun industry instead of the American people. Strangely, there is no mention of the fact that according to the FBI's 2013 crime report, crime of all types, both violent and property, fell substantially. During the same time period, gun, ammo, and gun accessory sales hit an all-time high. They also didn't mention our database of over 1,300 documented defense gun uses, which is only a fraction of actual defense gun uses. I think I'll continue to use this holiday to spend quality time with family and friends myself, instead of wasting a breath like that.
Well said. You are on the firing line with Joe, Matt, and Kanani. Be a part of today's show by giving us a call at 1-888-625-1440, or if you're in the Santa Maria area, give us a call at 928-1440. So yeah, that is, I could totally see them saying, hey, because that's just their style, get your family together and, pour the wine in their ear and get to talking, and that's I think you're right. Yes, a lot of times you don't see family members except for maybe the holidays and stuff, so stuff like this might come up. But if you're using that time with your family to, at this point, now you're pressing your own agenda, then that's kind of a shame on you type deal. That's the way I'm thinking of it.
Yeah, I think you made a good point. If it comes up, then it comes up, and then you can talk about it and express what you think is right or wrong, or whichever side of the argument that you sit on. But certainly,
shut them down.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this. See you next year.
There were people that pun intended, had their guns loaded on this one, and they probably had a piece of paper printed out at the dinner table with them, just in case, they're whatever, crazy.
I had my
son-in-law.
paper printed out and my gun on top of it.
Yeah.
Nobody said a word.
Your COE doesn't count, Jay.
Oh.
And then, all the myths, we've talked about all these before. The Bloomberg, saying that it's a myth that the bad guy with the gun, the good guy with the gun. Well, how else are you going to stop him? With the.
Just look at him really tough, like.
Well, you could,
Hey, you.
Meet up with Medusa and just start turning fools to stone. I don't know, but we've talked about this before. And if somebody is shooting at you and they're shooting a gun at you, trying to kill you, there's not a whole lot of other tools out there that can solve the problem as well as another firearm.
But the truth of the matter is to save that one life of that person who doesn't know any better, you'd have to let him commit his crime.
And okay.
Depending on the situation, that could be a really good solution. But in most cases, if the guy's firing at you, the best thing to do would be to return fire.
I still don't see what's so good about that. But okay.
All right, so George drinks the Kool-Aid. Or he's got something in his Gatorade, clearly.
Or his family came by and gave him the exact lecture that Bloomberg wants.
Yeah, my dad said he's going to ground me.
Well, okay.
I had to quit the show, come on here, change everything.
All right, Kanani, what do you think about, as far as women with domestic violence? Does having a firearm in your access, the potential to get one, is that, in your eyes, does that make it safer for a woman in that domestic
Can I answer
situation?
this for you?
No, you can't.
Well, he might be able to.
Yeah, that's right. I might.
No, I think it does make women safer if they're trained to use it and have the will in order to actually use it in
Right.
the event that something like this would happen. But when you read that again, and I've read this a few times, but I immediately thought of that video that Moms Demand Action put out about the domestic violence trying to break into the house, and if she had a gun, she would have been able to defend herself and her child against the obviously estranged ex-husband coming in to beat her up.
That was a funny video because it actually portrayed the woman as a person who cannot defend themselves, and having a gun in the house just means she's going to end up a statistic and dead. And I
Right.
think you're absolutely right. We took their video and used it against them.
It was the best pro-gun video and commercial I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, but they didn't even. Yeah,
they didn't even mean it that
Yeah,
way.
exactly. They meant it the opposite way, But I mean, that was a compelling video, though. I mean,
Yeah.
that was pretty gnarly. I mean, that guy beats the what out of that poor lady. And had she had the time, then she probably could have spared all that trouble.
Yeah.
The statistics you say in this article that you presented to us for me to read right off the bat, that statistically, crimes have gone down, and that guns have been used in self-defense. Where does it say that?
Over 1,300 times.
1,300
recorded.
times, and that's recorded. That doesn't cover the undocumented.
Yeah.
So out of that 1,300 times, let's just stick with the numbers. How many of those do you think were women that protected themselves from an abusive husband?
No, that's a great point. I mean, there's 50-50 whatever, men and women on the world. So, I mean, yes, there are probably more men that carry the firearms, but we've seen this huge influx of ladies in the past few years carrying weapons too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all to hear that 25% or more of that could have been, a woman defending herself. Mm-hmm. I mean, easily. I mean, we've read the stories here of just everything from the grandmas defending themselves to the, college girl. So,
I just thought of something.
uh-oh.
We see from the NRA and from other groups all these stories compiled where somebody's been able to protect himself at home. I mean, it literally, man protects himself as burglar breaks into his house, ties him up, and he protects himself and holds the bad guy there until the police get there.
Right, yeah.
Never once have we ever seen Bloomberg come out and fight these with articles of woman grabs gun and gets gun taken away and used against her. We don't hear those stories because, to be honest with you, there's not enough of those stories to go around. There's more stories of the people that are protected.
Right, and it doesn't mean it doesn't ever happen. I mean,
Right.
freaky things happen, especially in scenarios like that where
I dropped my gun.
people are frazzled, all kinds of stuff's going on at that point. So yeah, I mean, I'm sure it has happened, but is that the standard? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, or else we would have heard more in the news.
Well, no, I mean, and again, Joe and I see this all the time too. I mean, at the shop, where people come in and they just have this misconception of how or what their wife or girlfriend can shoot. I mean,
big time.
a lot of people just kind of right at the beginning think that, hey, if you're a female, you're starting 10 steps behind than where a guy's going to
We
start.
had a guy call today at the store and ask for 25 ACP. That's 25 auto. Do you have a gun? Do you have ammo for my wife?
I know, and exactly. So what? You don't like your wife? Because, well, I mean, would you want to protect yourself with a 25 ACP? Probably not, unless it was the only last thing other than throwing a pillow at somebody. But
Slingshot that stuff.
the only time I would say a small caliber like that is at all okay is if it's a backup gun, a secondary or a thirdary weapon.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and the fact that people always call in and say, well, my wife needs either a 380 or a 25 ACP or a 32 S&W, whatever it is, it's always a small little caliber because that's all she can handle.
Yeah, I totally don't understand that. I mean, I am well known to be a lover of really big guns and large calibers, and have definitely shot my grouping of them. But to think that a woman can't handle a smaller caliber pistol is probably one of the most ridiculous things I have ever heard.
Can't handle?
Only can handle.
Or could only handle.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Or any kind of thing that's like the suitable,
yeah, I mean, and even...
It just doesn't make any sense to me
Right.
at all.
Well, I mean, a 9mm is pretty easy to shoot.
It's pretty darn easy to
Right.
shoot.
Even a 45 is pretty darn easy to shoot, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times we hear I'll even suggest, like, well, do you want to run a 9 or a 45? And just the mention of offering this guy and his girlfriend or whoever it may be, the fact that, hey, maybe she wants to shoot a 45, they laugh. No, I got her with me today. We're not going to be shooting a 45. And I've heard that, you know. And it's, and it's like, well, you know,
Honey, I love you, but don't listen to this guy. Go on.
Yeah, and we hear that kind of stuff all the time, and it's just, look, I guarantee you she could shoot it, you know, give her a chance.
Yeah.
Maybe if she'll take a class, she's going to probably end up out shooting you, because that's something that we've seen time and time again.
Oh my God, we've had husbands come into the shop mad
Yeah.
because now their wife is telling them what to do, and their wife's out shooting them.
Yeah, you guys taught my wife how to shoot. She outshoots me, and she tells me what to do.
I can't get away with anything now.
Yeah, exactly.
They shouldn't be such a poor sport.
Right, yeah. Or if you're that worried about it, go take a class yourself so your wife doesn't have to teach you everything, you know?
Well, I think there's a big difference when you're kind of talking about the ego between men and women, is that women have a tendency to group together, and if there's women who are, you know, getting a firearm in order to combat a domestic abusive situation, they have other women to talk to and to support them and to train with them and to kind of get them up to speed. And it's more of a group environment versus kind of the solo, I'm a very macho guy and, you know, I can shoot and do my own thing, and the little lady will have a 22 kind of stuff. So
Yeah, I see that. I mean, we see that just, I mean, even for instance, like, you know, the club that you run. You know, I mean, there's not, how long has your club been in?
We are coming up to just about 1 year in January.
Okay, so just...
Donna, give us a call back if you're out there. We lost your call. Make sure you give us a call back so that we can bring you on the air, okay? That phone number is
1-888-625-1440, and Donna, since I know you're in Santa Maria, 928-1440. Alrighty. So, but yeah, just like, so your club has been around for, let's just call it a year.
Yeah, just about a year.
And, you know, I mean, you have a good amount of girls that come and shoot. Now, there are no guy clubs that I know of that come in and do this. If there is, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
called IDPA.
Well, exactly. Well, yeah, but I mean, there's, even in that, you know, in all those, there's tons of females shooting up there now.
Right.
You know, so, but that just goes, I think that just kind of backs up what you're saying, was I don't want to necessarily call it a social thing, because I know, but there are people that do that.
I guess more of a supportive community of women who enjoy shooting and are challenging each other to get better and potentially shoot higher caliber firearms. And giving them that opportunity where they may not get it if they were to come with a boyfriend or a husband who, you know, kind of says they should shoot a 38 and not a 45.
Right, that's a good point. Hey, Donna, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine, thank you. Nice to hear your voices.
Oh, yes.
Yay.
I just wanted to mention, when you talk about calibers, I'm more familiar with the revolver than I am a semi-automatic. So 7 years ago, when I bought my handgun, I bought a 357 Magnum GP 150, and I'm very happy with it and felt very comfortable with it. So it's ludicrous to think that women can't shoot a larger caliber handgun, whether it be revolver or semi-automatic. It's just plain ludicrous.
No, you're exactly right. I mean, I think choosing firearms for women is like choosing a pair of shoes that you like. Some women like heels, some women like flats.
All day without hearing that part.
Sorry.
When I purchased my 357, I hadn't probably shot in 30 years, and that is just a gun I was comfortable with.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a little heavy, but it wasn't any problem to shoot.
Right.
You know, so it's just plain ludicrous. And on a lighter note and a more heartbreaking note, I'm going to miss all of you. I've enjoyed listening to you. I think you've done a dynamite service to the community, for the entire Central Coast. County, I think you've been a wonderful addition. Matt, you appreciate it. And it goes without saying that Joe is kind of the show. Of course, I'm a bit biased, but I just wanted to mention that you're all going to be so missed, and I hope you come back in the future.
Well, thank you so much, Donna. We appreciate that, and thank you for listening for all this time and giving us lots of good input.
And I haven't called in a while because I haven't had much to say, and you guys have had a lot of interesting things for me to listen to.
Well, you know, we love to hear our own voices over here.
Well, there you go. But anyway, you are going to be missed. I just wanted to, I'm going to kind of brought that up about women and how intimidated they are. We are not intimidated.
This is true.
I think, if anything, we're intimidating.
I think we intimidate men is what I really think.
Yeah.
But that is another story and
Only
another
the insecure men.
That's a whole different radio show entirely, guys.
Anyway, I'm going to hang up and listen to the rest of the show.
Awesome.
and enjoy it.
Okay, thank you so
guys?
much, Donna.
My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Donna, for the kind words. As she said, that she's going to be missing us. That is today, because today is our last show.
Wah, wah.
Yes, unfortunately, it's finally gotten to the point where we just can't do it anymore. We may look for other avenues later on down the road, but for right now, we're going to call it quits for a little bit and try to regroup and come back at it strong again. Because this is something that all three of us enjoy. We enjoy getting the information out there. It's a battle that we've decided to take on right next to you. We're standing right next to you out there fighting this battle to make sure that we do continue to have our rights and make sure that plenty of people out there understand how we got our rights, where we hope to see them in another 100 years. You know, this is something that's been a continuous fight for us. And your support out there, whether you've come by the shop and given us money, come on the Facebook, or just stop by and said hi when you see us out in the streets, has been phenomenal, and we really appreciate that. At least I know I do, and I'm sure I speak the same for everybody else here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been very, it's been cool. It's been a lot of fun. And, to the listeners too, just because, maybe you've designated an hour on Saturdays to listen to On the Firing Line, just because we're not going to be here anymore, you can still use that hour to, fight for your rights and learn more about the Second Amendment. We appreciate you listening to us, and we want you to listen to us, but there's other ways you can learn and educate yourself. And I very much encourage you guys to keep doing that, because if you're listening now, that means you care enough to at least learn something. So good for you, and keep learning, because there's a lot out there.
Well, both Jim Koff and Jason Peck, who are hosts on this show as well, they have continued to do that. We haven't heard them on the show in a while, but I've constantly talked to them and get emails and Facebook stuff. And they're constantly in the battle as well, even from their states that they're living in now. And they feel for us out here. And I know that all of you out there are going to not just miss us, but you're also going to miss them too. And I'm sorry that it's come to this. Believe me, I think that we'd all rather continue to do this. But we must all do what we have to do.
Yeah. That's right.
I don't want to say anymore.
Well, I think before Joe goes into a full nuclear meltdown, we're going to go ahead and jump into our first break, and we will be back more On the Firing Line.
You're listening to On the Firing Line on the information station.
This is On the Firing Line with Matt, Jim, and Joe. We will be right back with you on the Firing Line. If you have any questions, give us a call at 888-625-1440 or in the Santa Maria area, 928-1440. Don't forget, you can always listen in on am1440.com.
Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifles, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Building an AR-15, they have lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies and stuff.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol classes and have trained thousands of local ladies.
The store is located off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit. Look for the big rifle sign on the freeway as well as the giant 5-ton Tactical military truck, and they're now open on Mondays. America!
On the Firing Line is happy to have Law Offices of Christopher Coleman as a sponsor. The Law Offices of Christopher Coleman is located in Santa Barbara on 2019B State Street, specializing in personal injury and, more importantly, the Second Amendment and On the Firing Line with Matt and Joe. Give them a call at 805-682-3352, serving the Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, and San Luis Obispo areas for over 25 years.
Have you been looking for a new or used motorcycle or all-terrain vehicle?
With a staff that has a combined 270 years of experience to inspire and help you make that informed decision.
Santa Maria Motorcycles is your one-stop shop, and their mission is to provide you with that ultimate experience.
They also have rentals, so you can take that ride you have been dreaming of up the coast.
They're located at 2022 Presker Lane in Santa Maria, or give Chris and his team a call at 805-928-3668. Again, that's 805-928-3668.
We're happy to have a special guest here today at the Plumbing Talk Studios, Jeremy Griffin, owner of Griffin Plumbing in Orcutt. Welcome, Jeremy.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, Jeremy, the reason your plumbing company is called Griffin Plumbing is that your last name is, in fact, Griffin.
Yeah, that's right.
Unbelievable. Griffin, just like the legendary creature with the body of a lion and the wings of an eagle.
Yeah.
What a brilliant move, Jeremy.
I'm a genius.
To name your plumbing company after this majestic creature. A creature known not only to have divine power, but also to be a protector from all things evil.
Well, it is my last name.
Audience, listen carefully. If your plumbing devices are threatened in any way, I implore you to seek the power and protection of the Griffin.
We're always here to help. Just give us a call.
Call the Griffin.
Find us at callgriffinplumbing.com or call 934-1949.
You are on the firing line with Joe, Matt, and Kanani. Be a part of today's show by calling 888-625-1440, or if you're in the Santa Maria area, please give us a call at 928-1440.
That's right. You are back on the firing line with Joe, Matt, and Kanani. Give us a jingle at 1-888-625-1440, or if you're in the Santa Maria area, give us a call at 928-1440. All right. Looks like we got a caller. Hey, Dan. How you doing today?
Hey, I'm sort of bummed to hear you guys are gone. I'm sitting here listening to you guys on a 1940 Cadillac radio.
Oh, wow. And you can still hear us out of that thing?
Oh, you're great.
Nice. Is that?
At any rate, and I was the one that gave you guys the coupon, and somebody actually is responding, is going to bring a radio in.
Oh, awesome. That's cool. Yeah, man. Then thank you so much again for that and for the help and support over the past couple years. It's been really nice to, have you offer that thing and, have you call in. And it's just nice to know that you're listening and, hopefully you're learning some stuff. And you're also.
This thing is a great show for people understanding what's going on with firearms. And, hey, if you guys get anything going again, I'm more than happy to kick in a thing in there, and I love the way you guys made somebody had to work for that.
Yeah, well, not everybody gets a trophy with our squadron.
There are winners and losers.
Yes, there are.
Hey, that Second Amendment took a lot, to work for. It's
absolutely. No, and it's going to continue to take a lot of work because people are coming at it from all angles, trying to erode it and tear it down. So. Every time it seems like the slack it's slackened, it's not. We cannot back down from this. We have to continue to, like I was saying, do our own research, talk to our friends, and just educate people because, the thing, for our argument for, pro-gun stuff is all we got to do is tell the truth and present the facts.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing, too, is California, man, we are just like, we might as well have Michael Bloomberg be our,
Whoa, Dan! Don't be giving any ideas there. He might fly
right
over
there,
here.
Man, we got Michael Bloomberg is trying to control the world.
Well, all he wants to at least control fat people.
Yeah, and of course, I bet you he has a really well-armed, bodyguard system around him, and regular, citizens,
yep.
But they want to take your gun away from you.
Yep, and that's the unfortunate way that it is right now, especially in Congress right now. That's how it is. There are slow changes happening. Unfortunately, nothing drastic enough to make a huge difference overnight. But there are slow, the ebb and flow of good things that are coming into especially for California. But like I said, we're also losing things every year. Every January 1st that I know of, we've lost something, and we're continuing to lose stuff.
And continues over the next few years.
Exactly. So
yeah, and then the thing in California, too, wanting to get any kind of, there's a lot of firearms. You just can't get them here anymore.
Yep, yeah, because it's that roster, which is, unconstitutional.
It's ridiculous.
Yep. All right, Dan, well, thank you so much.
Hey, you guys, I hope to hear you guys, come up from somewhere, and you have my number, so make sure you.
Yep. Well, we'll shoot up a signal flare if we do have a new show, and hopefully we'll let you know.
And I still haven't got down to your range, so you guys are still in business, right?
Oh yeah, we'll be in business forever.
You better believe it.
I'm bringing a buddy of mine down there because we both have a couple firearms we need to just practice with, and hopefully we can come and see you.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, we're always going to keep the Facebook page up. That is not going to go away. So there's still going to be an area where you can go to get information and articles on this kind
I
of
wish,
stuff.
I wish I had something other than Facebook. I don't do Facebook.
It's
totally
open.
got off of it.
It's actually open to the public, so you don't actually need to be logged into Facebook or have a Facebook account. You could access it from just the regular web.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
It's just like accessing a normal web page. It's not. You don't have to have anything. Just like Kanani said. I mean, you go to the Google machine, type in On the Firing Line with Matt, Joe, and Kanani. You'll find it there, and you can check us out on the page.
I can check you out without having to...
Yep. And same with YouTube. You can listen to any of the old shows on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
And that's the same thing. Just go on to the search and search On the Firing Line with Joe, Matt, and Kanani. And there's probably around 20 shows you can choose to listen
There's
to.
probably more than that.
Probably more
We have
than
probably
that,
the
yeah.
last year and a half up on YouTube.
All right,
Oh,
so
thank you.
So, yeah.
about 70 then.
Yeah.
Hey, I wish you guys the best of luck, and I'm sure you'll surface somewhere else.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dan.
Thank you.
And you have a Merry Christmas, all right?
Hey, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
All right.
Yay, we
Take
get to
care.
say Merry Christmas.
Well, I actually did that intentionally. Because I refused to bow.
Instead of happy holidays.
Whatever it is.
know.
Just Merry Christmas, dude. I'm not going to get offended. I'm
offended
Well,
by those
you-
people who won't say it.
You're offensive. What can I say? Man.
My rights have been violated. I've got to use that word. I can't, though.
Darn it. All right, so real quick, Ferguson, we're not really going to get into it, I don't think, but, bottom line is...
Boo media.
Yeah, boo media. Law enforcement did their job. People there that don't have jobs, you need to get one, because I don't know where you find all this time to go riot and stuff.
I don't understand what happened. It used to be that if you stood up in a theater and cried fire when there was no fire, you had to pay for the consequences.
Yeah, it's called
the
crying
media
wolf.
needs to pay for the consequences of their crying wolf.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on this. I mean, and this whole Ferguson thing from the very get-go, months ago, has been just it's been a terrible ordeal, especially, for the town, for the state, for the people that are truly good citizens of Ferguson. It's given just a terrible name. So anyway, I just hope that everybody involved can kind of hopefully settle down a little bit, get back on the right track, and continue on with their lives.
Agreed.
God, I just thought...
What a sum up.
Well, I'm just trying to keep it simple, Ferguson, y'all need to calm your stuff down and get some jobs.
Ferguson hurt themselves more than anything. I mean, think of this. If you're a person that wants to go on vacation, are you going to go to Ferguson, Missouri?
Yeah, well, no.
Are you going to go and spend any money there?
Well, probably not. I mean,
I don't think there's much left to spend money at.
Boom. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure like the fire extinguisher business is booming. Sorry.
Evidently, the gun business is going boom there too.
And that actually did go pretty big boom.
Yeah,
so
multiple times.
Some of the reports of sales just skyrocketing.
And that goes to show people get their backs pressed against the wall and they know, hey, well, if I own this 1911 at my house, then my odds are better.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder how many of those people were registered Democrats that bought guns.
Yeah, I know. I mean, because when your life and your family's life's on the line, who cares? Yeah, exactly. Give me give me the best item possible to defend myself with at that point. And I think that,
matches.
And you flick matches at people. Yeah. Ever seen a match burn twice?
Round them up, put them in a church, burn them on fire.
So, but I don't know. I think we kind of nailed anyway for Ferguson. Anyway,
What? No more for Ferguson?
No more for Ferguson.
I'm sure we can come up with at least 5 weapons we could use there.
Oh, you know what? I think we're right. What about 5 guns people in Ferguson should own?
Let's see.
You think you can come up with 5 without looking at the paper?
Wait. How about a 22?
Pew, pew, pew. Well, 22 might be good there. I know that they don't have a magazine
Yeah, I don't think they have
so
any
they don't
magazine
have. So
bands there.
go ahead and put a 50-round drum on a 22 or a 100-round stick or whatever.
100-round stick mag in a 22.
Yeah, with your little 1022, and that thing's yeah, that's a little machine right there.
That's at least 3 people I can take out.
Right. But I mean, we've said it a lot on here that a 22 is not the ideal, but it's better than nothing, and they still hurt. I mean, and it's all about shot placement. I forget her name, I always do, but there's the old story of a lady who shot that giant bear with a 22 in the 1920s, I think, and brought it down. Oh, okay, well. Anyway, I've read a story, and maybe I'm the only one who's ever read this story.
That has read a story.
That's news right there.
We need typewriter going.
Yep. So 22s, I mean, especially these days when the ammo is not what it used to be as far as availability and cost, it's actually the opposite of what it used to be. So it's not the it's not the ammo to go out and just go plinking with anymore because it's too expensive. You can go plink with 9 for just a couple cents more.
Yeah.
And that's just
so insane.
Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. All right, so with the set of a 22 being a little underpowered, let's just go straight to the other side and go to a 12-gauge shotgun.
That's Biden's personal favorite.
Yeah, now a 12-gauge shotgun is probably I don't know what word, the gnarliest weapon we can own as civilians as far as doing damage.
Even in the military, dude, you think somebody with a shotgun and slugs can hold off a battalion.
Yep, yeah, exactly. And, I mean, just even without slugs, let's just say normal, good old-fashioned 9 buckshot, you press the trigger one time is the equivalent to pressing a 38 9 times. So that right there is pretty, I mean...
Unless your shot's got dimes in it.
Right, yeah, I mean, yeah. But either way, a shotgun is delivering a lethal dose almost every time.
In a widespread pattern versus just a single one.
Right. I mean, it's still going to be a tighter pattern, but you do have a little bit more leeway, I guess.
And you can always do a tactical load and put a slug in there and go through a car at somebody,
Yeah, exactly, and that's the beauty of it.
There's nowhere to hide.
Is they do have enough power to punch through barriers without it being a rifle round because they're so heavy and they're moving at 1,600 feet. So, I mean, it's just, a 12-gauge shotgun is a noble, very serious, good gun to own, especially for defense. If you're only going to have one gun, a shotgun's a good idea, in my opinion.
Linda Hamilton took down the Terminator.
Well, Joe Biden agrees with me.
Just go out on your balcony.
Yeah, but I do not recommend firing 2 shots into the sky. The FAA might be knocking on your door. Other people might be knocking on your door. But
your neighbors, because it came back down in there.
You shot down my drone, bro.
What?
Will a bullet travel that far out of the atmosphere?
No, well, not necessarily.
35,000 feet?
Well, if you give it an arc, I mean, you can get it to travel a mile and a half.
Yeah, 22. That's true. On a little box of 22s, it says warning capable of firing 1.5 miles. I mean, and
straight up, I don't know how far you're going to get.
Yeah.
But an airplane flies almost 5 miles, just short of 5 miles, right?
Well, I don't know. I mean, especially if it's straight up, that's fighting gravity to the max. So, I don't know.
And that would be for another show, except we won't have that show.
Why you gotta say that? All right, so another gun that we're going to talk about is a gun that probably ends up being used defensively, but was not bought or purchased with that in mind at all. And that is going to be your hunting firearm. Hunting rifles, especially, even hunting handguns now, which has become much more popular. The larger revolvers like the 500s and the 450s and those things.
460s, yeah.
Yep. Those are serious calibers. Those things, even for rifles, 270s, 30-06, 308, 300 Win Mag, all that stuff is great ammunition if you have to defend yourself. Now, a bolt-action gun, best idea? No. Better than nothing? Heck yeah. And especially when you're shooting a round that is as powerful as that, as long as you're hitting somewhere where it counts, it's going to probably do the trick.
Well, I think, too, is it plays an important support role for if you do have a group together that is trying to survive together. Because the person with the hunting rifle doesn't have to be right there next to you while you're taking care of business. He can be a little ways away watching the situation and covering your six.
Everybody needs a sniper on their team, man. I mean, it's just that simple.
Maybe even a couple.
Maybe even a team of snipers.
Whoa.
So I mean, but we've when we used to read the Second Amendment encounters a lot at the beginning of the shows. A lot of the times it was hunting rifles that people defended themselves with because they heard the bump in the night. They went to a gun cabinet, and what they had was a Remington 700 or something, and they set it up, and it worked.
Yeah, and for those who are hunters primarily versus defensive shooters primarily, or competitive shooters, that's what they're going to have. So that's what they're going to be used to, and that's going to be what they're going to use.
Yeah. Hey, it worked for Brad Pitt in Zombieland or whatever. World War Z.
World War Z.
All right. So
that leaves two more weapons out of the
Two more weapons. Now, this next one is something that you should probably just have on you no matter what.
I almost would go this for like the first choice.
Me too.
Frankly.
But first and last.
Yeah.
It's kind of a double-edged sword. We're talking about a pistol, you guys. A pistol's great because you don't have to advertise, look, I've got a gun on me.
Mm-hmm.
You can hold lots of ammunition in it, and you can shoot it easily. But the problem is they're not going to they're not going to have the desired effect that a rifle or a shotgun is going to do to somebody that's trying to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be the most handy probably of all of our options, I would imagine. And
it's the thing you use to fight to get to your best weapon.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, yeah. I mean, if you might not have, if the pistol on you might be the best weapon, because that might be the only thing.
It's the best weapon until you can get to your best weapon.
Yeah, until you can get to something bigger.
I was going to say something bigger then.
Yeah, something bigger. But a pistol, and don't get too wrapped up in caliber with a pistol, I mean, as long as it's a substantial caliber, we kind of all just say 9mm or above is, and once you look at the ballistics of the differences of all those rounds, they're pretty much all in the same ballpark, very close anyway. As long as you get, I think the reliability, it's more about getting a reliable pistol as opposed to like some crazy caliber that's going to make a guy disappear if you shoot him in that pinky,
I kind of wish I had one of those. That'd be cool.
Well, you do. It's a 45.
Keep in mind, all of these things are worthless to you unless you practice with them.
Oh, totally true.
So when you go for a pistol, you got to remember that this is all about using the weapon that you are best trained to use. That's the weapon you want to go to, if you ask me.
Right. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some situations where you might not have the time to, the luxury to choose the right weapon. In that case,
that's why we should all be carrying a handgun on our side.
Yes, indubitably.
The one you train with.
All right, looks like we got a caller. How you doing today? Chris.
Hey, this is one of your sponsors, Chris Coleman.
Hey,
Chris Coleman, what the heck are you doing?
Well, I'm listening to your show because I know it's the last one on KUHL, and I just wanted to call in and say that if you guys ever resurface on another planet, I'll be happy to continue sponsoring you.
Oh, you are awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And, like we were telling the other guys, we're going to shoot up a flare if something like that does happen. We'll let everybody know. We're still going to have the Facebook page open. So if, in the future, if we do find another outlet for the show, we'll post it up on Facebook and, we'll make a big stink and everybody will hear all about it. But with that said, we'd also want to take the time to thank you for all the support. You're one of only a handful of people who have really helped us out. And, so thank you very much. It means a lot to us and it's helped us a lot.
Well, it was...
Good.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
sorry to interrupt you, Chris. It was you in Tactical that really helped keep this show alive for as long as it did. I know that we got Griffin in for a while and Santa Maria Motorcycles, but the amount of support that you in Tactical gave us by far it was just amazing. And there's a couple times I almost wanted to break down and cry because it's such a moving thing to see that kind of support. And I'm not trying to take away support from anybody else who's helped either, but I know that money does not grow on a tree, and thank you very much.
Well, you're right about the tree part. I keep looking for that money tree, and after 40 years, I still haven't found it. But listen, guys, if you do come back, I do want to keep supporting you. I'm going to keep practicing law in the Tri-Counties. I'm up in Santa Maria and San Luis Obispo all the time. And anytime, we're looking at some pretty major legal issues coming up with the Ninth Circuit and maybe even the U.S. Supreme Court.
Right.
You're always happy to call on me to do a little legal research and give an opinion or two, and for whatever it's worth.
Awesome. That would be really cool, and that's a good tool for us to have for to help other people understand this type of stuff. Because as you know, in your profession, the jargon for this stuff, sometimes you got to decipher it like the Da Vinci Code.
It is mind-boggling. And when
we do learn Latin in law school, so I can help out a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on right now in terms of the Second Amendment, as you guys know better than anybody. And just keep on plugging, and I hope you find a new place to land.
All right, thanks, man. We really appreciate the help, and again, like I said, we'll definitely keep you in the loop.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Cool. Well, it's really nice to hear from all these people. I think they know that that we're doomed, that this is the last show, and it's been a while. We've been doing it. We've been at it for a little bit, and to see the support right now, it's really nice, for me, and I know for Joe too, and Kanani, to hear everybody call in and let us know that they care, and that, there's been times where me and Joe have been here going, are we actually talking to people, or are we just talking to each other here? So it's good to know that, we got out to some of you guys, and, hopefully you've learned a couple things from listening to us, because we've learned a lot talking to you.
Right. Absolutely.
Anyway, with that said, we got to hop into another break before we can get back to the end of the show. But until then, we're going to be back with more On the Firing Line.
We'll be back to more of On the Firing Line with Joe and Jim after this.
This is On the Firing Line with Matt, Jim, and Joe. We will be right back with you on the firing line. If you have any questions, give us a call at 888-625-1440 or in the Santa Maria area, 928-1440. Don't forget, you can always listen in on am1440.com.
Tactical Guns and Gear is the Central Coast leader in tactical rifles, pistols, shotguns, and accessories. Building an AR-15, they have lower receivers, parts kits, trigger groups, and a ton of other AR parts from the most popular companies and stuff.
They are also the home of the Women's 101 Firearms and Women's Advanced Pistol Classes and have trained thousands of local ladies.
The store is located off the 101 freeway in Santa Maria near the North Broadway exit. Look for the big rifle sign on the freeway as well as the giant 5-ton Tactical military truck, and they're now open on Mondays. America!
On the Firing Line is happy to have Law Offices of Christopher Coleman as a sponsor. The Law Offices of Christopher Coleman is located in Santa Barbara on 2019B State Street, specializing in personal injury and, more importantly, the Second Amendment and On the Firing Line with Matt and Joe. Give them a call at 805-682-3352, serving the Santa Barbara, Santa Maria, and San Luis Obispo areas for over 25 years.
On the air with the Midnight Mystic is one of our regular callers, truck driver Charlie.
Boy, I just seen another one, Midnight Mystic.
Another Griffin, Charlie?
I'm telling you, they're all over the Central Coast now.
How long have you been on the road now, Charlie?
2, 5, 8 weeks, I don't know.
Perhaps you should park the truck and get some sleep, and maybe the Griffins will disappear.
Well, there it is again. I'm going after it.
What does it look like, Charlie?
Holy mackerel. It's got the body of a lion and the head of an eagle.
Is it flying, Charlie?
It's on the side of a white truck.
Is it a Griffin plumbing truck, Charlie?
Could be. I don't know. I'm pulling right up to it.
We seem to have lost contact with Charlie, but I'm sure he'll be okay because Griffins, just like the good folks at Griffin Plumbing, are here to protect and serve. In fact, if your plumbing devices are threatened in any way,
call the Griffin.
Find us at callgriffinplumbing.com or call 934-1949.
Welcome back to On the Firing Line with Joe, Matt, and Kanani.
That's right. We are back on the firing line. You can give us a call at 1-888-625-1440, or if you're in the Santa Maria area, call us at 928-1440. All right, so we're discussing 5 good guns that, people should have. Maybe the people of Ferguson should have. Maybe people in general should have. I don't know. Buy yourself a gun.
Look, we've hit the pistol, the hunting rifle, the 12 gauge, and the 22.
Yes.
That leaves one last ultimate weapon.
Ultimate weapon. All right, so we're going to leave that spot for what we're going to call a battle rifle. Now, okay, so...
Wait,
to
is
me,
a battle rifle something with like an axe on the end of it?
Yes, it's like a battle axe, but it's a rifle.
Okay.
So instead of an axe, it's got a rifle.
That's perfect.
Okay.
I get it now.
And it's for battling. It's for battling, whatever kind of battling you're up to. It's rat battle. That's all right. So
no. Well, maybe. I mean,
trust me, they use them. A lot of people would think that a battle rifle are your ARs, AKs, things like that. To me, that's more of an intermediate style rifle, but that again is based upon the ammunition being not a lesser power round, but I guess not a full power round because it's a smaller casing. You can hold 30 rounds in a normal magazine in a normal state in a normal country. And, so that versus something like a 30-06 where M1 Garand where you hold 8 rounds of 30-06, I think they're both battle rifles, whether it's an M1 Garand or an AR-15. They just have their respective differences.
It's more like a category then versus a type of weapon.
Where does the 50 cal fall into this?
Oh, 50 cal's like, battle rifle for sure, dude. Or hunting
rifle.
Yeah, but you should, you hunt something with a 50 cal.
There's only one thing I'm hunting with a 50 cal.
Yeah, because you're not going to put it this way. If you nail an animal with a 50 cal, there's not going to be any edible meat on that thing. So you're not the ideal round to hunt with. Well, you could blend it and make a milkshake. Yeah. That might be nice.
Catch that mist.
A mist shake.
Mist.
Oh man. So,
yes.
I'm gonna go with, as far as a battle rifle for an AR, we'll call that a battle rifle, is probably gonna be the personal preference for a defensive rifle for me anyway. Now, I already said a shotgun is pretty much as good as it can get. But where the battle rifle and the shotgun differ is the battle rifle is usually going to have a larger capacity magazine. You're going to have more ammunition, and it'll probably be easier to handle than the shotgun. With practice, the shotgun doesn't really kick you around too much, but it definitely kicks you around more than a 223 or even a 7.62 will.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of girls, especially when we're starting to, when we teach rifles and shotguns and things in club, that they're really good with the AR-15 platform.
Yeah,
it's easy.
It's intuitive.
Exactly.
Exactly. And just like a handgun, you put the thing in the thing and you press the thing.
Yep.
And it's really not that difficult. The sights are easy and they're very accurate.
And they're very similar to a pistol on how you would kind of line them up and get them on target.
Yeah, front sight, front posts, and nice squeeze all the way to the rear.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's where I personally, and in California we kind of have our hands tied using ARs defensively because, hey, you have 10 rounds and then now you have this chunk of metal stuck in your gun that is forcing it to malfunction because you can't take the magazine out.
Yeah.
Hopefully you wouldn't need 10 rounds. Hopefully you wouldn't need any. But if I'm going to be using that type of a rifle to protect myself or my family or whoever, the more the merrier, For that matter, give me one of those Surefire 60 rounders because it's a party. Wow, indeed.
Battle rifles.
Battle rifles. That kind of broke it down. So we had battle rifle, pistol, hunting rifle, shotgun, and a 22. Now, yeah, obviously they make a 22 and a pistol, and you could probably get a 22 hunting rifle. But, we broke it down for you. So there it is. Bottom line is, everybody should probably have the pistol. That's what we're agreeing on. The pistol is kind of the backbone of this. Because the pistol is going to be the tool that's going to be the most versatile to get you to a larger tool to solve a larger problem.
Fight your way to the better tool.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. Time is actually running. We've got 5 minutes left.
Holy
and
smokes,
there are a
man.
couple more thanks I want to get out there.
Let's do it.
Number one, I wanted to say thank you to Jim, who has been here quite some time with us, put up with a lot of us. He's operated the board for us, the phones. He's helped us with stories. He's been a host with us here. Jim has been a great part of this. And Jim, we want to say thank you very much for all the help that you've given us. Honestly, you've given us a lot of insight and helped us be able to make this show better, and we appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, coming from me too, you know, I mean, you just taught me a lot about basics of radio, you know. Hey, you know, lift your head up, speak clearly, things like that. And it's just little things that, you know, I mean, all those little steps that you helped myself with and Joe and Kanani with. It's just awesome that you could be here every Saturday with us, you know. So thanks, man.
You know, another thing, I think since we do have so little time, why don't we do a little thing here? Kanani, let's start off with you. You've been on the show with us now for some time. What does it mean? What has it meant for you to be on this show, and what do you think that you've been able to help accomplish by being on the show?
It's given a active platform for speaking out in favor of the Second Amendment, and it's definitely forced me to have to go and look up more information and become more educated, which just helps everybody else that I talk to. I know there's not a lot of other people that I know that I talk to on a regular basis that love this as much as I do, but because I can be passionate and talk to them about it, it definitely convinces them that this is a valuable part of our freedoms in America.
Awesome.
Yeah, good.
Awesome. How about you, Matt?
That's a big part of it for me, is getting to talk to you guys every week, and then being able to discuss with other peers other than you guys, you know, the same type of stuff that we talked about. And I have the ammunition to give them the facts and throw truth darts in their eyes, you know, and things like that. And I just think we're constantly learning over here, you know. I mean, yeah, we're on the radio and we're trying to get the word out, but in order to do so, we have to learn.
Right.
So I know I personally have learned a lot throughout all this. You know, Joe, you've taught me a lot too. So that the biggest thing for me is the knowledge, and then the knowledge I'm able to pass on to my other friends and family.
Yeah.
Because that's like you were saying, you know, not everybody has somebody who's going to tell them the truth of it, and or even not. Somebody might think it's the truth.
It's my truth.
Well, yeah, somebody might think it's the truth, but exactly, it's actually CNN's truth, or it's Fox, you know. So it's nice to be able to get our own objective opinion and find the source of it, and then hammer it, you know.
Right.
And that's something that I've really enjoyed.
And what I found interesting is everybody that I've talked to, whether it's just some random person out in the community, like, oh, what kind of shirt is that? What do? You like to shoot? That I never know if what they're going to talk to me about is going to be something that agrees with me or something that disagrees with me.
Yeah.
So kind of by doing this, it makes me an active participant in
point.
The community and in the firearms community, and to speak out about what I think or what I don't think. And, you know, you have to get some thick skin sometimes when people want to say weird things to you, kind of mean things, or attack you because of what you believe.
Though.
Yeah.
But yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, and of course, because we're out here talking all the time, people are going to want to say something.
Yeah.
Well, what do you, Joe? What do you think's been the biggest? You've been at this for 5 and coming to 6 years. You know, so I know you've had a lot of good experiences here. What's one of the major things that sticks out for you?
You know, one of the things for me is I've been able to educate myself a lot because of the research that I have to do to bring up the paperwork, and sharing that with other people and helping them see the truth, just like what you're saying, because the truth is there. Well, to give you a good example, we did one of our shows, we went back and we looked at anti-gun mentality, and we found that it's been with us since the beginning of our country, and how we've constantly had to battle it. And I think that it's pointed out to me, as well as I think a lot of you, the listeners out there, that this is a battle that we will constantly have to fight. And it's not just reflective on the Second Amendment, it is also reflective on all of our rights. All of our rights will always be in jeopardy, and it is up to us to come together as a community, as people, as families, and fight against that. And seeing that joined unity is probably one of the best things that I've seen on this show. Yeah. That's been important to me, and I love the response that we get from people out there. You know, none of us ever did this to become famous, and by God, we still haven't become famous.
I don't know, Joe. You're on.
I was going to say, I don't know about that either.
Joe's infamous for sure. You're surely infamous, though.
But it has just been a blast to be a part of this, and I think to echo too what Kanani said is, you do feel like you're a part of the movement in the ability to get out there and have your word heard, and that's something strong and motivational.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate to be here, so that's where I want to now say thank you, Joe. Well, because this was, you started this, you brought me into this, and you've taught me a lot about it. So, this is On the Firing Line, signing off.